This is the UFO scandal the government hoped would disappear, but it hasn't. Let's start with the moment the entire story exploded. In June 2023, decorated intelligence officer David Grusch steps forward, not on a podcast, but in an official interview with Congress and the Inspector General. He claims the US has spent decades recovering crashed craft of non-human origin. Grusch said he discovered secret crash-retrieval programs scattered across agencies, each compartmentalized so tightly that even high-level oversight committees didn't know they even existed. He said he interviewed over 40 people involved in these programs, and he claims the government have recovered intact craft, damaged craft, and this is the line that stopped the room: biological materials that were not human. His report was deemed credible and urgent by the Inspector General. This wasn't a random witness. This was a vetted official accusing the government of hiding evidence from Congress itself. A constitutional crisis disguised as a UFO story. But it gets even more intense when you follow the whole timeline. So here's a pattern everyone's missed. In 2019, Navy pilots reported tic-tac style objects almost daily for months. Objects accelerating faster than anything known. In 2020, the Pentagon officially released 3 UFO videos. In 2021, Congress created the UAP Task Force. In 2022, over 510 official UAP reports were filed, triple the previous count. And months after Grusch met with the investigators, NASA announced its own UAP panel. The numbers don't show random events, they show a coordinated increase in transparency. Right before Whistleblower came forward. When the timeline aligns as cleanly, it stops looking like a coincidence and starts looking like preparation. And that preparation becomes obvious when you hear what the pilots themselves experienced. This is where the story becomes real. We're talking about the aviators, radar systems, and officers who claim these objects aren't theoretical. They're physical, dangerous, and they seem up close. Multiple Navy pilots described the craft with no wings, no exhaust, and impossible movement. Lieutenant Ryan Graves said his squadron encountered them so often that pilots started carrying risk reports in their cockpit. Another pilot described a dark cube inside a clear sphere, hovering at high altitude, and radar technicians backed it up. Objects from 80,000 feet to sea level in seconds. These aren't blurry lights, they're structured craft in restricted airspace. And many pilots later admitted they hesitated to report them because they feared of losing their careers. When people with the best training on Earth all describe the same thing, the debates shift from "are UFOs real?" to "how long has this been happening?" And that question leads us straight into the institutions who may have known far more. This is how the system responded, and what it refused to say. After Grusch's testimony, Congress demanded answers from the Pentagon, NASA, and intelligence agencies. Their reactions were oddly consistent. Officials said they had no evidence of the recovered craft, but avoided giving direct yes or no answers to key questions. When asked if the US was reverse engineering unknown technology, they replied with, "We cannot discuss this in an open session." NASA said they found no proof, but admitted their data quality was too weak to make any conclusions. And the Pentagon repeatedly blocked Grusch from accessing certain programs, even though he had top secret clearance. It created a perfect storm, agencies denying claims, while also refusing transparency. This non-denial is exactly how institutions respond when the truth is classified, not when it's false. But the biggest angle isn't what they said, it's what everyone almost missed. This one detail changes the entire story. Buried in Grusch's statements is a line that's easy to miss, but massive if true. He said these crafts are not just recovered from crashes, some were handed over from private aerospace companies. Meaning, if a contractor found something decades ago, They could store it under corporate secrecy, outside of government oversight, outside FOIA, and outside of Congress. This would explain how programs stayed hidden for 80 years. It also means the US government might not be the only entity with access to non-human technology. Corporations could be decades ahead in material science, propulsion, and energy systems. If this is true, this isn't a UFO cover-up. It's a privatized arms race. And this leads to the final question. This is where the story is heading. Congress isn't letting this go. Whistleblowers are protected, pilots are reporting openly, and new hearings are scheduled. In the next year, we'll see two big developments. First, mandatory reporting from aerospace companies working with advanced materials. And second, a public database of military UAP sightings, updated regularly. And behind the scenes, multiple senators are pushing for a classified briefing on legacy programs, code for old crash retrievals. If even one of these efforts uncovers a single verifiable artifact, these shifts from conspiracy could go to confirmation. We're now closer to answers than any point in our modern history, and the pressure is only increasing. But this story is far from over. Whether Grusch is right or wrong, the reaction from Congress, the pilots, and intelligence officials shows one thing. Something is happening in the skies, and someone knows more than they're admitting to. And the crazy part, a second whistleblower has already stepped forward. What do you think of this whole story? Do you believe in UFOs? Are we on the brink of discovering something that could completely revolutionize our planet? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, and subscribe if you're new.